Hey you guys, it's Jordan here, and today I decided I would go ahead and sit down and make a video full of some things that I think would be useful for someone that's either getting into digital art or anyone who wants to pursue it as a career or as a hobby. Just some tips that kind of fuel what I like, just staying on top of things every day, studying every day. Um, and I honestly think these could help for beginners. There's a lot of videos out there, obviously, for beginners, but I'm just gonna jump into it. So, one of my first recommendations is to just have your things favorited. It's really simple. Like, all you do is go to a website or whatever, and you just favorite it. That way, and this will tie into the second point too, because a lot of what comes as motivation and just having a drive to do something is just constantly reminding yourself how much you want to do that thing. For example, you can see at the bottom, like, I have League of Legends open, but at the same time I also have Photoshop open. And it's just those subtle things that keep you on top of, just not getting distracted as much as you did before. And they've honestly helped with me a lot. Like, I'll have music playlist that I use for when I draw on my hotbar. I have YouTube, obviously. I have FDZ School. I have an ArtStation app on Chrome to open up an ArtStation every time I open a new tab. So, like, if I open a new tab right now, it'll go to some random page on ArtStation and pull up a new artist, and then, like, boom, there you go. Like, it's just a constant reminder of, like, what you need to be doing, or maybe like what you should be doing, instead of being distracted by a game or something like that. It's these subtle things that, like, for me, like, it could even go as far as, like, if you have two monitors, it could go as far as having just another stream on. Like, right now I have a stream on of John Silva, and this is a very good artist on Twitch. This is my followers, or the channels I follow. But he's streaming right now. So, like, even if I'm not playing, even if I'm not drawing, I have something open where someone else is doing it, or it's something that someone else has done. It's definitely just something that kicks me into gear, because while I'm playing League, I'm looking over at my second monitor like, man, there's so much information, or so much, so many tips or, like, stories that I could be missing out on right now that relate to what I want to do as a career. So, I mean, it just helps so much. Like, it stops you from being so distracted, and at the same time, it makes you more aware of what you want to be doing and, like, why you aren't doing it. Or not necessarily why, but, like, the fact that you aren't doing it. It's like having how else would I explain it? Like, imagine you want to go work out at the gym, and you want to work out, like, you enjoy doing it while you do it, but you just don't want to get up to go to the gym. For example, you would have a whole bunch of you just have a whole bunch of workout posters in your room. That way, like, there's no possible way that you can forget that you aren't doing what you did, that you want. There's no possibility for you to, like, forget that you aren't doing what you promised yourself you would do, or what you want to do. It's like it's like having a schedule, or a book that's always open of the things that you want to accomplish for that day. Like a sticky note that's always on your screen. Like, that motherfucker is not gonna move unless, I mean, like, you take it off, or, you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure you guys get it. Second would be, making a Pinterest, and definitely just changing it to what you want for yourself, like what you want to be studying. For example, I have my Pinterest, and I draw a lot of futuristic armor, but at the same time, I know somewhere down the line I'm going to want to move into more nature and more effects and more items, things that aren't just, medieval armor and stuff like that. So I have all of these pages just full of inspiration, and that way, like, it takes the most, like, minimal amount of energy to just open Pinterest, even when you're not even studying, to just go over there and just look at these and just, all right, add this to my page, add this, add that. It's just that simple. And you just click them, you know, like you click these, and eventually, like, and it's not, obviously these things wouldn't work for everybody, right? But like, there's no way that you wouldn't come across something that you don't like, that you want to be able to look back on later, especially if you want to pursue something as a career. And you just never know when you can use these things. Like, you just really never know. Like, look at this. It's insane. Like, you click one thing and the algorithm, like, what's shown to you changes depending on what things you add. Like, recently I've been adding a lot more gun concepts and sword concepts, so I'm starting to get a lot more of those popping up. I'm starting to get more fire tutorials and effect tutorials. It's just so much information that's just packed into every page. And this is just something that, like, it's amazing. Like, whoever came up with this website, in my opinion, they did a really good job. It's like, it's a good way to spread, you know, awareness of different artists and art styles and ideas that you would have never came across beforehand. Like, it's just insane. Like, and it's just, and it's those small reasons, you know, it's because of that reason that, like, while you're playing your game, you're like, huh, if I open my Patreon, or not Patreon, my Pinterest one time, I'm pretty sure I could find, like, instantly 3 pictures that I like. If I refreshed it right now, I know I would. Boom, look at that. Even more stuff, even more cool effect things. Like, it's just, honestly, like, if you don't have one, I'd seriously recommend. And this isn't sponsored or anything. These are things that I use myself. You know, I because I know how much, I know where I'm lacking discipline, right? As far as, like, getting off of League of Legends or getting off of Escape from Tarkov and just starting to draw and study things. And if you look at my Instagram, my art is by no means, or my drawings, I would say, or art, they're by no means, like, perfect or anything like that. But it's because I have these constant reminders of what I want to do, that I'm able to push that forward, to push myself forward, to be able to make better things. And like I said, like, every page, and then the best part about this is when you make your own pages, it's even better, because these are things, some of these things you even forget that you added to the page. So it's like, holy shit, like, oh man, that looks cool, I can try using this kind of style or this kind of design and kind of, like, tweak it, or add these two together and add something of my own to it, or anything. And you can tell, like, these people that draw these things are so experienced, and it's like seeing all of these experienced artists on one page, and, like, just knowing how much effort they put into getting to that point, just kind of, it should make you want to push yourself a little bit harder. And that's all I say about that. Like, it's just insane. Another thing, the last thing, is following a whole bunch of channels that are specifically for art. Now, what I do in this case is I have a completely separate, I have 2 YouTube channels, right? I have one where I have all of my, you know, gaming videos on, all the podcasts, all that kind of stuff. And then I have another channel where it's strictly art, and that's all I see on there most of the time. Sometimes I forget that one account is on, obviously, but that's how I make sure that you know, I'm staying on track. If I'm not drawing, I'm always gonna have something art related on my other monitor, 100%. And this is one of the channels that one of the schools that I've watched so many videos from them. These are all made by this guy named Feng Zhu, and he basically, these aren't necessarily tutorials, but they're just jammed with information that you would like, it's so easy to just listen to it, you know. It's not necessarily like math, like, where you have to, like, strain your brain to listen to him, you know. He's giving you tips about the industry, and even though they're 9 years ago, these things and these methods that he used are still, like, things that you can learn from. And this is coming from a beginner artist. I myself have not went and taken my my art classes yet, but this is my way of preparing myself and getting myself disciplined to the point where when I do get into those classes, not only am I behind, but I know what to look out for. I maybe some of the things we're getting taught, I maybe already know. You know, it's like, it gets you in there on the right foot. You know, you never want to get into art school or an art class and just be the most like like you're not informed. You don't have anything going. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people for any major would say like college and pushing yourself to learn new things is not like you're not going to go to class and just because you completed the classes and got your degree and got good grades in them, that isn't going to get you into the industry, and that's not going to make you the best artist that you can be. The best artist that you can be is going to come from doing that outside of class. A lot of their professors are going to tell you like for every hour that we spend in class, you should be spending maybe 2 or 3 just studying what you learned or studying new ways to apply what you learned. There's so many different ways to take it, and it's insane. It's like I almost get to the point where I'm obsessed with it, and I'm so glad that I'm able to say that, because it's just, it's like any time that I'm not drawing, I think about like, man, if I spent like 5 minutes or 10 minutes right now just to find out some new information or watch a new video on YouTube about like, I don't know, shot setup from FDZ school, I could learn a lot instead of playing League of Legends and just getting tilted off the earth and then just not wanting to play the game anymore, uninstalling, being in a bad mood, and then being in a worse mood because I want to go study, but I don't feel like studying, but I know I should study, so I have to force myself to study, and then that makes my mood drop even more. Even though I love to study, like it's like forcing yourself to get off of a losing streak on League, and then forcing yourself to get on to a studying streak on Photoshop or whatever you use. It's a really shitty feeling. Like that's the main reason why I broke off from that. And the last thing that I would suggest, and keep in mind, these are all free. Like, you don't have to spend money for these, you know. But the last thing that I would suggest, to my current knowledge, right? And I know some of you guys, maybe a couple of you guys are looking over here and you see like, you know, powerful JRE. Who the hell doesn't watch JRE podcasts? Okay, like I know it isn't necessarily art related, but sometimes you will get tired of hearing like constantly all these specific and like strict ways to doing things. You have to take everything with a grain of salt and like take what you think could benefit you the most. You know, don't try to stretch yourself out of your ways of doing things, but also be open-minded to the fact that you can also be wrong. And that's not necessarily like you're completely wrong or something. Like, there might be just a couple of aspects of what you're doing that could be wrong. Not saying your whole opinion could be wrong. And even then, you know, you just got to be open-minded to the fact that there's different ways to do things, and always be willing to hear out other ways of doing things. But yeah, every now and then I don't necessarily have things that are like like if I have for every 10 art channels that I'm subscribed to, I'll have one podcast maybe where they would talk about like real life situations or even functionality, like of I don't know, like a car or jiu-jitsu or something, like anything that you could apply to your drawings to make them more believable. Military videos, anything like Vsauce, like screw it, man, like just anything that could help you understand what you're trying to draw better, and anything that could help you understand what you could be drawing better. That's like one of the biggest things that I like about art, is that if you're trying to be a concept artist, literally learning anything could help you be a better concept artist. Learning how a shoe is made will help you a lot with how you design that shoe, or like learning how a car is made will help you a lot with knowing where the wheels could go and where they can't go, and where the engine could go, and what the engine uses to move the car, and all kinds of things. You just learn how to bend the rules just by learning functionality of something. And one last thing would obviously be like Twitch or like YouTube streams, anywhere where people are streaming art. Chances are they have like a whole bunch of people in the chat that ask them questions that you wouldn't really find out if just out of the blue. There's so many things that like I've learned that I would never specifically go to find out, that helped me a lot when it came to drawing. and stuff like that, like how to draw with your shoulder. Like I would never, like, who the hell even thinks about that? I thought when you draw a circle, you just, you know, you just draw it like any other way. Like, and there's actual methods, you know, of drawing with your shoulder and drawing with your elbow and drawing with your wrist in a way that won't get it cramped in the future. You know, there's so many different ways and so many problems that you can just stop yourself from having to run into. There's just so much information out there. And one last thing would be books. There's and this is something that I learned from FDZ school that I never thought about. You know, it's the fact that you can get these books. For example, I bought a book on nature and nature sciences, and it basically has a whole bunch. It has every rock, every mineral, every crystal, you know, just every tree, every bird, every plant, like imaginable. Not obviously not every one of them, right? But like a big handful of everything, from germs literally to dinosaurs and bats and not planes, but I'm pretty sure you get the point. And it's those things, like, even though you may not read the book every day, just the fact that you have it, art books, anything, just the fact that you have it just supports what you want to be doing, right? I can't stress it enough. And with my experience that I have right now, I may not be explaining it completely right. One day I might look back on this video and cringe to death. I don't know, but this is just an effort of me trying to help somebody else. It's not for it's not like for money or anything, but like on the off chance that even one person comes across this video, I hope it helps. And I'll see you guys whenever. All right, that's it. Later.